So they got me up at 5 o'clock with mad static and vibrations on my head. I ain't repeat the lucid dreams this time. I learned. Let them think they got away with it and then spring it on them. But as we can see, I have led them to admit beyond, the admissions that they have made that it was never a national security issue. I was never a threat, no extremist, no radical, no lone wolf, no anti-government, no political, no racist, and no religious fanatic. It was a false flag by means of organ harvesting, or a false flag due to organ harvesting. The main focal point is Ark of the Covenant, Higgs boson. No drugs, no drinking for days on end. Even though they want to take pictures, sit a can there, sit some ashes there. It's a couple cigarettes a minute ago. One more cigarette about to go. But at 5 with the smoke, they might want to catch a picture of that. Still the same side of me, same chemical, biological, germ, and nerve agents, different fumes, implications, wrongfully accusing, finger pointing, false testimony, meaning by the implants cut into my ear canal, as well as the way they heavily sedate me and leave me comatose, and then yell segments and systematic wording into my subconscious to come through a cloud from the different virtual environments, computer-mediated reality with individuals who hold devices near, to make it come through, and then keep repeating the same thing. Or when songs playing, have the words of the songs printing out, similar. Like a few songs I listened to last night, I can notice the suggested material would be something, if not racially motivated, such as like a revolutionary, aggressive mindset of the be. That's why the siren's playing, because what I'm saying is valid. It'd be, songs in reference like Jay-Z, If I Was to Die. That's what Pandora suggested. Now, if I would listen to that, then you know what kind of things they hitting on. Similar Saheed Vassell, Troy Ford, Eric Gardner, Ramari Graham, Deborah Danner, things that would be played later, and they'd be like, listen what was on his mind, listen what he think. And that's not that. That's why they haven't moved forward with the Deborah Danner segments that they have mentioned on several occasions. They want to put in effect, leave a knife there, leave a bat there, leave a heavy object there, or let him go on the street and, yell near him, I ain't going back, or something violent, and then call authorities, similar to Saheed Vassell, Utica Avenue, and then have it follow through right there. Or how they did several incidents on the train, and isolated incidents, having them confronted, similar how they had years ago with an incident at Borough Hall with off-duty. Different aspects they want to push, but now we know the main focal point. Now we understand why they stated he would cause a gang war, mafia war, a religious war, a race war, a military divide, a civil war, a world war, and a space war. You have to ask yourself. Now you don't. We have the answer. Higgs boson, Ark of the Covenant. But at one point, months ago, when they was calling individuals from different, elements and different factors, such as whether streets, whether law enforcement, whether military, whether intelligence, whether, medical, whether, different factors, many was asking, like, what's really going on? And they was giving dozens of reasons. We was testing them. We was giving them a job. It was a sleep study. It was a experiment. He was a threat. He was a whistleblower. The only thing they kept it real about about them organs. We paid for those. That's what was always spoken about when they was isolating me in the medical places as they tortured me. Main thing they would jump, kidney mines, or them organs mines, or we paid for them all. Blame your ancestors, what you thought slavery, things of that nature. But when you get in the public, the thing they roll calling, or, yo, listen, perv, bug, or fiend. But I proved that even, with the dire circumstances, threats of harm, and the actual torturous, systematic torture being used on me, still not a national security issue. He's still not an enemy combatant. And it seemed like you can't even, when you threaten, sell this daughter's sex slavery, you get a toothache, you dead, you go to the hospital. We chop this relative up. This relative, we'll put a case on this one. We'll send these to disappear. He's still, you couldn't even get him to go in the bank. When he out there, you making him starve and roam while you torturing him with mosquitoes, ticks, bed bugs, fleas, different kind of things that's been used on me. And you still couldn't get him to whether convert or go through an extremist or radicalized mindset. So then what happened is you took the things that he put into existence, and you took them and you snowballed them. That's why they was like, take a lie, make it big, keep saying it, and the people are fall for it. Or, taunt him, he's scared, or he not with this, to force him, provoke him, or and use that and say, look, he's an aggressive, he's an animal, look how violent he is. Or have him he's not willing to put himself out there and attack crowds of people for no reason on Roosevelt Island trams or in parts of, cities you had him placed on trains and undergrounds. Then you say, look, he ain't strong enough, he ain't patriotic enough, we don't need that. You understand? It's like a catch-22. You make it look like a choice when there's no choice. Then, say you're not complying, like if you paying a bug out role, meaning a person could be, touched and have things that, cause mental strain, but you want psychotic and you want deranged. And many would be like, okay, if they want that, it seemed like they just doing that. Supposedly they claim to avoid other things, but no, you see the main suggestive material now lately coming through the CIA Mockingbird program, NSA Dream Scan, rather DIA, DOD, or let's go, like Airborne Instrument Laboratories and Brookhaven and, coming out of Staten Island and different aspects like Farmingdale and Deer Park and the Montauk Project, the Crop, the Underground. The main things that you hear come out or suggestive material, sometimes they might throw sexual in there because they done fell on deaf ears, so they on short change. So the main thing they trying to revert back to is stuff that is showing he don't need to partake in them. He has hella discipline if he had to show it. But, they'll play like, oh no, we trying to paint what they said, somebody who's extremely violent or some kind of sexual deviant or somebody that's easily persuaded. But you can see even when they see in the material, they keep jumping back to religion or race. You understand? Radicalized or, things of not religious, have never been religion. I think it's fair to say, like, it's hard to even put a person on my mindset. Meaning if I see something, I point it out. So to put me into a religion, I've been been pointing things out to the pastor, preacher, cardinal, whatever religion, whatever you would have me tied into. That's why the gang thing don't fit. You understand? So they fell short on that. They fell short on the radical, the extremists, the racists. Remember, they called 15, 20 different races and had communication or dealings with them without criminality and without him paying attention to the differences in their racial, separation, things of that nature. So what's going on? If you pay attention, that's why sometimes I screenshot the audio or the visuals I'm going through, because I can see they doing a voiceover to make them speak a certain way, or they yell in my ear, fuck white people, fuck this, fuck that. Things I don't say, or that's not in my mindset to say, but since he wouldn't do it on his own, now we're forcing it, and then you're telling individuals, now you went from a study or experiment, oh no, it's an investigation, oh no, it's an assessment, but it was already assessed last year when y'all said y'all had nothing on them and the ACLU was on your back for 2 weeks, around August 12th when you did the Charlottesville anniversary, when y'all was attacking me in the stage replicated Union Square Park with the mosquitoes cutting me open, burning me, attacking me, pushing me down, throwing food on the ground at me. Y'all already stated y'all had nothing on them. So I'm gonna be honest, when you have this kind of like implication and different things surrounding that, and you say this, you say that, then that's something you usually come in with. You would never have them like jumping from here to there. You have certain individuals like they don't understand the mob angle. They don't understand how am I tied in with, you know, the mob angle didn't make sense to them. Team of Assassins didn't make sense to them. Being connected one way or another to these cartels or whatever viewpoint, that ain't make sense. He has nothing. How is that possible? And I appreciate them for that, you heard? Because it show that most things never exist. But that show you nitpicking. You coming up with it as you go along. That's not what you have to do for Extremist Radical. That show you knew from the gate. If anything, his imagination might be far-fetched, but when it comes to literal, all this technology, billions, spent trillions, if you have black budget, it's no way possible. You would even thought that. Now you admit it. It's about that Ark of the Covenant, that Higgs boson, Kareem Lake Chad Foster. His middle name is the key, Lecchaz. Charles Francis de Moraes, Louis XV, Louis XVI, Maximilian, Jacobin Club, 1789. Just to name a few. Angels and Demons, the Da Vinci Code, Holy Grail. You look at what's transpiring, what they guarantee him, even though they admitted it would have been nothing that warrant death. Passion of the Christ. You look at the date it was released, 225. You flip it, you know, they said the last go first, but his birthday, 522. Then you think in religious viewpoint, they say once the fifth trumpet sounds, and then you look at the definition surrounding that, and you see his birthday, May, and then you think, where 22 come? 22 state member, sir. You put that in their viewpoint. You also, you know, you keep in the viewpoint his connections with Einstein, such as where Einstein had his surgery at Brooklyn Jewish, and him said to be the last baby born in that hospital. I mean, the connections are irrefutable. Like, it's impossible for them to divert or distract from him now. So the main thing is to rush it along. You know, just how you say you have $7 million spent on this since the first week of January from last summer. And I gave the example of the $25 million example that would be added. Let's say if you had 5 individuals, $1 million apiece, and they spread $20 million amongst 80 other individuals, which would be $250,000 apiece to, you know, in different areas around the world or wherever they're associated with, to paint a picture. That still hasn't addressed the $23 million outside I could prove in 2006 connected, that was spoken about, connected with my existence, or the $9 million in 2011, or the $2 million last year. And it's no family, no relatives, nobody, for the most part, I've been associated with, that, you know, I grew with, that they put in spotlights, wrongfully accusing, fear-mongering, shaming, putting on the defensive, jeopardizing, you know, their well-being, things that they had established. But it shows that all these people that they're violating, people now they have admitted it was never a national security issue. He was never a threat. The thing is, you're not safe. You never were safe. You never will be safe. Them organs not yours. Blame your ancestors, which you thought slavery in. That ain't never been a national security issue. But the things that have been spoken about, bragged about in great detail, them are most definitely are. Shannon Gilbert's, Troy Ford's, Lamie Price, Lionel Ashley's, Ramari Graham's, Khalif Browder's, Saheed Vassal's, you understand, as well as people that spoke up in reference to these situations like Kendrick Johnson, you know, the debt his family have, you know, them not being able to keep their house now due to it, or the Shannon Gilbert, her mother, and why she received as many stab wounds as she did in reference to speaking up or putting a spotlight on it, or Khalif Browder, his foster mother, you know, Michaela Capers, or rather PJ, father, you know, that bragging in great detail. You remember, investigators, most time when a crime is committed, what they usually say would be the smoking gun. That was something only the killer would know. So if you not the killer, then sometime you had to come across him at one point or another. So they know which way to go. So remember, it's going to be nothing I said or did once the dust settled. It's going to be the things that was said, things that were spoken about, bragged about in great detail while I was being tortured. And it's still going to show. When he got a pocket full of money, he still wasn't on the extremes of what you do when you take a remote control, using Bluetooth to take remote control, all sort of devices, or you have these different simulation and avatars, standing replicas of relatives to try to paint a picture. And I don't think you fooling nobody now, because the main question all race, color, creed, tag, rag, position, and range been asking when they see my name, Kareem Foster, or they see my face. It's like, yo, what's really going on? And now they know that Higgs boss and that Ark of the Covenant. And for those that doubt it but seek the truth, where your loyalty or, you know, your brainwashing or your lack of intelligence don't cause you to ask the truth, then all you gotta really do is tell them, yo, listen, stop attacking them, stop microwaving them, electromagnetics, stop the plasma, scholar weapons, or, you know, the chemical, the biological, the germ, the nerve agents, and just as quick as y'all put him on the front line, on you know, and for everybody to see, send him down and let him provide what he had to prove that. That right there don't implicate anybody. You understand? That right there just show the big picture to the world for those that's wrongfully accused or that's running around bragging about helping to download or keep putting people, places, and things in his head that he never spoke about, he never had dealings with, he never had association with, know nothing about. But you got individuals from the same organization. It don't matter if it's gangs, if it's mobs, if it's religious sects, if it's racial orientation, tribes, corporations, tech companies, medical professions. You understand, different aspects. They're bragging without, well, some of them starting to realize you got your peoples in the crossfire. And now it's proven beyond benefit of doubt. It's fabricated, orchestrated misinformation, propaganda that's being utilized to throw off track from the big picture, him being a super weapon. That was the main thing they was clashing about. The Pentagon, DOD, individuals from DARPA and different defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, you understand, NASA, space program. Main thing they was arguing about is he is a super weapon. If you look at the trial, which I would know nothing about, I would never have, you know, called for that myself. But the trail that they spoke about that stood out, like when they say Christ, he wept at the tomb of a loved one, and then they say, when I went to the graveyard in, I think it's called Conisco, in Valahadi, and I cried for about, it felt like a half an hour. And when I turned around, it's like time froze. Everybody still standing, and then words start traveling through that town in reference to the cloud and all the orbs and everything that came out while I was there at my aunt Geraldine Douglas' gravesite, who happened to be Cheyenne in Cherokee, rest up, godmother. And, you know, the incident happened in Valahadi, Metro North, with a Jeep Cherokee. You know, right there they tried to say that stood out. But then they mentioned the derailment in the Bronx. Again, had an emotional outburst there. And then, again, I was attacked on several occasions and different things transpired at BRC in Chelsea. And then I had an emotional outburst where I had to pick up something that day. I didn't want to. I had to. I went over there with certain energy. As I'm leaving the church, started a fire. There was no firemen and nobody there yet. I recorded it as they started to come right here on 25th, some Orthodox church. May 1st, I believe that was. I believe that was 2016. Yeah, because right after I had the next incidents that led me, coincidental, if you look at what transpired, CERN had like a storm around like the end of June. I went through a storm, ended up Brunswick Hospital. So I'm not going to get into that. Like I told them, if they doubt it, they should by now be telling you the big picture and still have you move accordingly, but also your bag should add up. So whatever you usually get for whatever they say and paying, I'm telling you, it's supposed to be 100. You get a rack usually for this, they should have 100,000 waiting for you. And be mindful how you handle me. Like I said, I love you all. Well, I won't use that word loosely, just like I can't use hate. But I place understanding in everything, all race, color, creed, tag, rag, position, and rank. And I believe a lot of you are too. Double copy everything, just in case. Then what ifs I gave you to consider happen to outdo. They outshine them what is. that they're stating. What is what you've been told and what has you, partaking in what you do. The what ifs is what might hold the biggest effect towards you and everything you ever known. No disrespect, no challenge. I have reason to be very uncertain and fearful to what's transpiring around me.